What is libation? Libation is an offering system that offers sacrifices to a divinity or an ancestor or another spirit, or even to yourself using beer. It can also include water and other rituals such as burning incense, invocation, evocation. Libation is also poured for the spirits of the land, water, sky, and other natural phenomena, as well as for other deities and the forces of nature. It began in ancient Africa, nowhere else on earth, but only in ancient Africa in Upper Nile Valley, and spread across the whole region into the whole world. Since we have been told and trained that libation is very powerful for the last 200 or so years, has it worked? What they never tell you about libation in modern times is what we are going to discuss today, because it is clear that we are pouring libation, but nothing seems to work. If you have poured libation and it has worked, great news. If it has not worked, you may need to revisit it. Even so, there are a number of factors, modern nuances, every melanin dominant human being who desires to pour libation needs to understand and they need to take care of before you proceed to pour libations. Libations may fail to work because of what they never tell you about modern libation. The person performing the libation is not in the correct state of mind. That's one reason. Such that when they pour libation, they are not focused, or they don't believe, or they are doing it in a manner and in a way that will fail to have its desired effect. For instance, wearing shoes, having mobile phones in your pocket, or including prohibited persons, and the other reasons for performing libations. Lastly, if the libation is performed for the wrong reasons, such as for personal gain, for evil, for wrong motives, it will fail to work. Libations should be performed with the right intentions, such as to honor the gods or to give thanks to the ancestors for the personal gains or national gains that you will have made, not to try to manipulate them. There is a way that you can understand a libation that is beyond any comprehension today, and a lot of people have not been trained or taught about this. You see, libation plays a role as an intermediary between you, a human being, and the spiritual realm. And if done properly and correctly, mudiro, kutea, sadaka, libation can actually cause you to go beyond and reach the nearness of the chasm, where you can tap massive universal power. Let us look at other blockages that may stop you and block your libations from reaching the chasm, even though you have done everything all right. We know that the concession that we have and the connection that we have is within us. So libation involves us and our ancestors. So consciousness, beware of the existence of your own soul, the energetic, eternal consistency, the real you, the essence of who you are, what holds you in unity with all things, your own unique frequency, and your own beloved form of light that you have. To explain these fundamentals, we need to understand a number of things that bridges our understanding with our dominant life in this transitory duality where we dwell. For instance, whilst we know we are all in all, the illusion of self dominates us, because the third dimension is heavy upon our souls and upon our life, and we appear to be separate from all else, including good and evil. Yet this is a temporary illusion, the reality of which is that we are all one in one total unity. So this illusion of transitory duality must be a perception that is understood every time, every moment of your existence. Once you don't understand that, you are bound to suffer individuality and think that you have no power and you are powerless against all the nefarious forces that are arrayed against us in this third dimension. So the impediments that we are discussing that seemingly appear to overwhelm us in these third dimensions are challenges that also block or may cause libation not to take us to the chasm that is beyond our mere knowledge. We also know that one of the greatest illusions that is thrown upon us is via a religion. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and all other religions, they tell us that libation is evil, yet they store everything from us and they are using libations. There is libation in the Bible. They perform libation in the Quran. They perform libation in the Torah. If you go to Numbers 28, where they show us that they worship a deity who is violent, who is hungry, who is always thirsty. In Numbers 28:2, he says, be punctilious in presenting to me at stated times the offerings of food due to me as sweet smelling gifts to me. So Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, which has dominated our melanin dominant culture, has said libation is satanic. And there you can see they pouring the cup, they perform libations daily. If you read, you can see that they are copying us daily. They are offering drinks. In Numbers 28:7, it says, and the drink offerings thereon shall be the fourth part of an hin for the one lamp. So a lamp, hin, a lamp, hin. In holy place shall thou cause the strong wine to be poured unto the Lord for a drink offering. This was done daily. Or this is still being done daily by these people, because that's how they get their power. You can go to this Shadis Media Facebook and you read a lot about this. So in their Bible, they pour libation to a deity who demands physical food daily. So they tell you, don't do it. Even Jacob poured libation on a stone. Read Genesis 35:13-15. Libation works for them. That's why they have power today, because they are invoking and empowering their God, their deity. And we are told not to do it ourselves. So ultimately, Christianity itself is a specific form of libation that they don't want you to know. It is the blood of Jesus, represented by wine, empowered by their belief, empowered by their warrior nature, because for them to establish Christianity as a religion all over the world, they became political and rode on top of the Roman Empire. So Paul goes on to say, but even if I am being poured out as a drink offering libation upon the sacrifice and service of your faith, if they can have such belief and they come and tell you not to have that belief on you and your ancestors, they are causing your libation and our libation to be hampered and blocked. This is an aspect of religious systems. So when you look at a number of factors that causes our libations to fail, we have listed 10 of them here. We could have gone through all of them, but we shall pick a few and deal with them. The power of libation is that it unlocks the secrets of ancient rituals for modern practice. So you must be capable and able and be in a position to use traditional brewed beer. Don't use maize, don't use rice, don't use anything that is not traditional, that is not natural. Because millet, rupoko, injera, you have to prepare them in earthen vessels or wooden vessels, not plastic, not metal. We are dealing with the power of libation that unlocks the secrets of this ancient ritual. It must be closer to the ancient and to the meaning of libation, its symbolism and significance in the ritual, and also across the time zones, and so that it can give you a healing and protection and the power and honor your ancestors. And it is an art and it is a technique, and it is our modern aspect today to take it back to its spirituality, to connect to the divine. And there is a science of libation that we need to understand at a psychological and spiritual level for the benefits of this ritual. So the food that we eat has an operational frequency. Most effective for us is our natural food that we were born within, where we were born and the zone we were born in. What you eat vibrates. Genetically modified foods distort this frequency. They are not natural. They are not good for libation, these genetically modified foods. So if you brew beer using genetically modified foods, already your beer is below frequency. It cannot connect. Foods with no seeds, foods that cannot reproduce to the third generation, they should be discarded and never be used in your libation approach and the ritual. Genetically modified food also have a frequency that connects them to the patent. And the patent are the numbers of the aliens that inspired that genetically modified food, or those people that modified it. So when you use them and you do your libation, the frequency activates the realms of those aliens, not the ancestors, because our ancestors are natural ancestors. They live in natural world. But even your food, which is natural, it is growing under atmospheric pollution, electrical pollution, Wi-Fi and technological pollution. How do we escape this naturalness, and how do we protect it so that these foods can fare well, can fare better? They must be clean of pesticides, washed and thoroughly cleansed and ritualized. There are many methods to do that. So the next step is that our foods must be of a pH that correlates with what we want to achieve. They should not be too acidic or too alkali. They must be on the alkali side, proper natural food. And so we must also use proper foods, must use proper tools, and we must use clean natural water which has no chemicals in it, water that has been cleansed. Also, when we are doing our libation, there is a way we should present ourselves. We shouldn't wear shoes, because we are vibrating our libation. We want it to connect to the earth. So if you are wearing shoes like this and you're wearing like that, definitely you are not connected to the nature. You were born with no clothes. You should be as close to nature as possible like this. But the problem here is that they are wearing sandals, and he's bare feet, but they are doing it on the concrete. And when you do it on a concrete, the concrete vibration locks your vibration in that frequency, and it does not go. It must go to the earth like this, right down into the earth. Proper, correct, bare feet into the earth. The atmospheric waves bear heavily on electrical oscillations in our brain, in our head. So you should connect to the earth by bare feet, so that your electrical connection should be from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, right to the earth, and you make a full connection, so that at least you start to go out to synchronize with the Schumann resonance, so you can go out and perforate right out into the limitless universe for your message to reach as far as possible to the frequencies that we need to reach. Well, you must understand also the duality illusion here. We are dealing with your wholeness, not your individuality. The natural pulse of the earth and all our body organs, including our voices, are no longer natural. They have been distorted by the electrical discord that has been put on earth due to the destructive nature of electricity in the last 200 or so years. So what they never tell you about modern libation is that the electromagnetic environment of the earth, entire earth, is radically different today from what it was prior to 1889. In 1889, that's when they started to have these electrical cables all over the earth and distorted the natural harmonic nature of the earth vis-a-vis the whole universe. So we are being blocked electrically or spiritually. The natural magnetic activity of the earth started to be suppressed in 1889. All life forms of earth have subtly been altered. We have diseases like influenza. Then came the radio era that also caused a lot of distortion, a lot of noise in the spiritual realm. You need to see in the spiritual, you need to go into the spiritual realm to see this distortion, to see these blockages that are all over us here on earth and inside us, because these frequencies pass through us. All radio waves, electrical waves, Wi-Fi waves pass through our bodies, distorting the frequencies within us. All the wireless pass through us. This electrical era is very dangerous. That's why we have got HAARP. Modern electricity and wireless pollute the environment by emitting electrical fields that permeate all living beings. No one can escape this. Cars, planes, watches, phones, televisions, lights, food, water, drinks, beer, all of them affect us in a manner that we should understand and block our ability to do proper libations. What do you need to do? You have to wear wooden arms when you pour your libation, bare feet, using proper tools and proper liquids or foods or incense. You have to have crystals everywhere around your place, around your body, around your systems. You need to put crystals everywhere to block and deflect the Wi-Fi frequencies and other frequencies that are coming all over. You need to use natural food and natural beer for libation. What they never tell you about modern libation is that pouring the libation on the ground or on an altar is a system on inviting the gods, the ancestors within us to manifest with us and share our environment with us. Libation is a powerful tool for personal and spiritual growth. It can help us connect with our ancestors, honor our heritage and the culture, and give thanks for the blessings in our lives. It can also be used for healing and protection, as well as for connecting with the divine. Why libation may fail to work is due to the person who is performing it, to the deity to whom the libation is offered, who is being propitiated. In other words, if the deity is not in the right mood, or if the person is not in good standing with the deity, the libation may not be accepted or may not have the desired effect. If the ancestor was a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, and never followed his ancestral or her ancestral ways, and lived a life of paganism, in other words, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, your libation, you are just wasting time. Read this book, Libation. We're giving the link in the description for you to order it and study it. You cannot use European beer or any other type of beer for libation. Forget about it. Don't tell us anything. Don't try to argue and don't try to reason. Try it. You cannot use European beer, European brewed beer. You should brew your own natural African beer, melanin dominant beer for your ancestors. Now, this is a term, another method. There is another method for proper liturgy. You can see here, this is the tomb painting depicting two priests. One is holding a papyri roll, reading a liturgy, and the other a verse for libation, a liquid offering. So you can do libation in this way, the two of you, and you can prepare what you want to read and what you want to say, but not in English, not in Spanish, not in French, but in your natural, original, melanin dominant Bantu language. In African tradition, our religion and spirituality, libation is a central part of many ceremonies and rituals, and is considered a way of connecting with the spiritual realm. It is typically performed by a traditional priest or elder, or by anyone who is desiring to communicate with this realm. It involves pouring the libation on the ground, the earth, on an altar, or in a special vessel. The liquid used for libation is typically palm wine, African beer, other liquids such as clean, non-chemical water, and you connect with the spiritual realm. We shall host a Zoom discussion on this topic of libation. If you are interested, the Sisu temple, to explore the spirit and the realm of libation, keep in touch, watch this space. You can also connect with us on our app, Marifado app, and until we meet again, what they didn't tell you about libation has been revealed. It's up to you now to think about it in a deeper and a very clean and clear way before you do any libation. Till we meet again, your manager to be priest Rabbi LM to be saying, yes, libation is the most powerful tool that we have at our disposal, but we need to clean it up and sharpen it up and use it properly. Amen.